Save your life. 8 tips to drive safe in bad weather. You know, a car isn't just a way to go from A to B. It's a serious responsibility and a potentially dangerous machine for you and others, especially if you have to drive in bad weather. Luckily, there are special driving tips to avoid accidents when it's pouring rain, the road is covered in ice, or you're driving in thick fog. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join us on the bright side. So here we go. Tip number 1. Driving in fog. Do not drive at your usual speed. Slow down so that you have time to react to different hazards that may appear on the road. If visibility is extremely limited, park in a safe place and wait for the fog to clear. If you're driving in really thick fog, turn off the radio and keep your windows rolled down. This way, you'll be able to hear what's happening around you to partially make up for your limited visibility. Don't drive with your brights on. Fog consists of tiny water droplets that reflect light, making your visibility even worse. Be sure to drive with your low beams on, so that you can see the road and other drivers can see you. When the fog is really thick, drivers usually move closer to the center of the road. Beware of this natural tendency and make sure to stay in your lane. Let the outer shoulder be your guide. This way, you won't run into oncoming traffic or get blinded by the headlights there. Number 2. Driving on black ice. Now, black ice is tricky given that in most cases, you can't spot it until it's too late. When driving at night, your headlights can serve as a useful warning that there's ice ahead since they'll reflect off the road. If you absolutely have to drive when the roads are covered in black ice, be extremely careful near bridges. They're more likely to be icy than the rest of the road. And even if they've been salted to prevent cars from skidding, this road salt tends to slide down from bridge slopes pretty fast. Braking is one of the worst things you can do on black ice. When you're nearing a patch of icy road, let go of the brake even before your tires make contact with it. If you're going at a pretty high speed, it's better to pump the brakes rather than slam them. Otherwise, your car may start skidding uncontrollably. Speaking of which, number 3. What to do if your car starts skidding. First of all, take your foot off the accelerator. In most cases, if your car starts to skid, this means you're driving too fast. Again, don't slam on the brakes. This will shift the weight of the car and only cause you to lose control over your vehicle. A lot of people who drive a stick shift have been taught that along with letting off the gas, you should also change the gear to neutral. Professionals, however, recommend against this. In order to shift into neutral, you need to take your hand off the wheel, which puts you at risk of losing even that tiny bit of control over your car that you had before. Look in the direction where you want to go, not at the thing you're trying to hit. You see, in a panicked state of losing control over your car and focusing on all the stuff you're trying to avoid crashing into, you'll actually subconsciously steer towards that object. Basically, if you don't want to skid into a tree, don't look at it. Number 4. Driving in heavy rain. Don't drive with your rear fog lights on in heavy rain. The driver behind you might mistake them for brake lights, and they'll be tempted to slam theirs. On wet roads, that's a dangerous mistake for everybody around. Turn on your headlights as soon as it starts to rain. This will help other drivers spot your car faster. And, of course, you'll be able to see the road better in poor visibility. Don't use cruise control. When you control the speed of the car yourself, you naturally accelerate and slow down to maintain the speed limit. Doing this shifts the weight of your car, giving it better traction, even on a slippery wet road. Cruise control takes away this weight shifting, meaning less traction and a higher risk of skidding. Now, even if you're not driving really fast in the rain, there's always the risk of hydroplaning. This is basically when sitting water acts as a lubricant between your wheel and the road, pretty much lifting your tires off the surface. In this case, do not turn the steering wheel. Immediately take your foot off the accelerator, then slowly and steadily press on the brakes. If you notice deep water ahead, just turn around. Driving through a large pool is too risky. You might damage the electronics of your car, get stuck, or even get swept away if the water's moving. Number 5. Driving in the rain at night. Well, let's just pile on, shall we? Raindrops on your windshield act as a lens that refract light. As a result, they can temporarily blind you, especially if it's pouring rain and your whole windshield is covered in water. Try to adjust your headlights so that the light doesn't shine up. You might try a hydrophobic washer fluid. It keeps raindrops from sticking to your windshield. And, of course, make sure your wipers are in good condition. Replace them once a year to keep them in tip-top shape. If visibility is just too bad, and you feel uncomfortable driving in torrential rain, pull over and wait it out if you can. Number 6. Driving in the snow. Reduce your speed dramatically, and turn on your lights if a snowstorm has caught you off guard. Try to stay at least 3 car lengths away from the driver ahead of you. The same goes for rainy conditions. If the visibility is extremely low, slow down and turn on your hazard lights. Avoid using your brights, since they can reflect light and blind you. If you can, pull over to the shoulder and wait until the weather conditions improve. If you're on the highway, look for an exit. Whatever happens, stay in your car. It's dangerous to leave it in heavy snow or even rain. Number 7. What to do if your car went into a snowdrift. If you've accidentally driven over a snow mound on the side of the road, do not turn the steering wheel in the opposite direction. Keep the same direction as before, and while steadily accelerating, get back on the road. If you're stuck in a snowdrift and you're in a stick shift, put the car in the lowest gear. This way, your tires will spin more slowly, and you'll avoid the risk of digging yourself deeper in the snow. You can also try rocking your car. If you manage to back it up a bit, then go forward. Keep doing this rocking motion. If you're lucky, you'll be progressing forward more and more until you get back on the road. However, if this method doesn't get you out of the snow after 5 minutes of trying, stop. Otherwise, you may harm your transmission. Number 8. Driving in a dust storm. As soon as a dust storm hits, pull over and entirely off the road. Also, make sure all your head and taillights are off. If you don't turn off the lights, other drivers may believe that's where the road leads. They'll follow you and crash into your car. Do not resume driving until it's safe to continue your trip. If you can't get off the road, decrease your speed to the bare minimum. Follow the white lines on the shoulder to make sure your car is pointing in the right direction. Stay calm. Most dust storms pass within a few minutes.